Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Scooby here, coming at you guys with my first artist interview. And we are actually here with Kevin from the LolCow TCG. How are you doing, Kevin?
Well, I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, that's good to hear. Good to hear. So, before we start off, I just want to give you your props for these six lovely looking cards that we have right here. We got two promos, the Nick, the Puff. We have a WTF series, a Boogie Kong. We have actually, we have two cards from the Scribe decks, a Dark Side Becky and a Do You Own This Card or Do I? And then we also have, last but not least, a Horror House American Biff in London. So, Kevin, to start this off, which card was the hardest to make?
Out of these six, I would definitely have to say the Cyrax card down there. I have
Cyrax
a
card
lot of
down there?
experience. I have a lot of experience with realism, so not as much with animals, but bearded dragons are cute, so no, I'm not struggling too much. However, to properly recreate a meme format with someone as unique as Cyrax and a young Cyrax, yeah, that kind of drove me up the wall a bit.
I feel obviously you drew inspiration from the Spider-Man meme, so I feel like it really does fit this card. All right, so Kevin, tell me about your origin story. How did you first get involved with illustrating for trading cards? And is LolCow the first trading card company you've ever illustrated for?
If I'm gonna split up the origin story, I just started drawing probably around middle school, and a lot of freelance work or just drawing for friends. If I had taken it more seriously, I could have definitely gone a bit farther. Pushing 30, I feel like I haven't done much. Um, as far as illustration work, I've done a lot of work for like the city that I lived in, and then that slowly expanded into looking into more. And while I was working on a college campus, I ran into a individual who introduced me to his Discord server, which introduced me to LolCow. Now, being on the internet for as long as I have been, I know what LolCows are all the way back the original days, back when Boogie was Francis, and even before then. So this person, if anyone's familiar with certain lore, named Nate Dogg, introduced me to the game. I was in his server for about 6 months. I was doing quite a bit of art for him. And within the same weekend, I joined the art team. He was playing Uno. And yeah, this is the only card company, other than just some personal cards I've made.
Oh, very very nice. So how much freedom do you actually get when you're commissioned for an illustration such as LolCow? Do you have to follow any specific guidelines, and how free are you on the actual abilities of the cards? Do you have any control over that?
There's influence, but otherwise, the set direction is kind of outlined. We're given basically our task papers, which will say what the things are, and then we'll work within that parameter. So, um,
So it would be like,
as far as
we want you to
mine,
create a Dark Side Becky card with this, and the rest you're given total creative freedom. Is that about how it is?
yes and no. Some of these cards, especially the promos are heavily guided. So the Boogie Kong, they definitely wanted something inspired by the original Donkey Kong. The direction I chose. The other ones were completely me. There wasn't any a direction other than what the characters were.
Oh wow.
But there might be some cards in the future that were way more strict.
Ooh, a little teaser there. How dare you? So,
Oh, if anybody's been around, you know that there's a few sets that Tuffy has been itching to get out.
oh yeah, we've heard a little bit. We've heard a little bit. So, what does your creative process entail when you're designing a trading card illustration? Do you usually start with like a character, or do you start with their background?
Typically, I will go with the character first and then work in the scene behind it. I'm not a background artist. You can tell kind of here. I have done a few backgrounds, but that is not my specialty. I typically all of my OCs live in the white void, if you know what I mean.
So whenever you're doing any type of illustration, are they mainly done on paper or digitally?
Due to life circumstances, I have been doing much more digital art. So all of these were done digitally, not even pencil sketched. Now, I do enjoy a lot of traditional art. I work in a ton of mediums, but until the life situation that could result in the destruction of my art supplies grows up, it'll remain digital.
Okay, sounds great. Sounds great. So given a card's small size, are there any challenges when trying to maximize the detail on them? And have you found any ways to help you adapt to that?
So typically these card arts run at about 650 by 600 pixels. So that is kind of small. Now the full arts are about double that. The tip that I will give to any artist that draws digitally, work with your canvas being 3 to 4 times the size you're going to be shrinking it down to. Putting in detail is not too hard, especially if you're not compressing it too much. But as far as making everything fit, no, it's not that difficult.
Can you tell us about a card illustration that you are particularly proud of and why you're proud of it? It doesn't just have to be for LolCow.
Ooh, let's see. Out of the six that are up there, I will definitely be a big fan of the Nick Strength and Power. I know that he's a big fan of it. If you've been on his Instagram, it is heavily featured. It's kind of the crown jewel of, especially the ones I've done. As far as others, you may show this. This was an illustration for a friend of mine, which we then created a card for his D&D Pathfinder session. His name is Eric.
Oh wow, look at that.
Uh, this character lives in the fleshscape, so everything on him is either made of bone, sinew, dead material, or hair. So
Wow, that's actually really cool. Like something out of World of Warcraft. When you design a card, how do you usually base your character? Do you like to have a more creative image of the character, or do you try to stick with a real picture of them?
I am definitely more of a realist artist. I definitely try to stick to real. It is very hard for me to work in exaggeration, with the sole exception of the caricatures that you would see like in a fair.
Yeah.
um, as far as like the toony proportions that some other artists are uh, really good at, I just can't get the same grasp on it.
Okay. Have you personally snuck in any little Easter eggs or secrets to your cards that nobody knows about?
I would definitely say so, and unfortunately, they're not going to show up in these six. So you have to keep an eye out. Um, in the full art of the Nick Strength and Power, if he were out of the way, there kind of is an Easter egg. Otherwise, nothing visible.
Okay. What is it like seeing your artwork become part of a game that fans such as myself trade and collect?
Oh, it's cool as hell. um, and it's going back again to the Nick, uh, and I guess the Boogie as well. Seeing the people that you're drawing holding the card of themselves that you made is a wild experience. But again, I mean, if you're on Nick Strength and Pokemon's Instagram, he definitely pimps this card out. So maybe we'll get another one in the future.
Do you currently see any trends in trading card art? It could be any kind of trading card game that you would like to implement in any future illustrations.
I guess other than like what Pokemon has been doing with their hollows, reverse hollows, and special hollows,
Yeah.
which that might be a thing. That's not for me to decide, but I'd like to see it. The problem with foiled cards is they typically bend after a while.
Have you ever played the game yourself? It could be in real life or again over TTS with cards that you have illustrated yourself. And did it make you feel like a special kind of way, like, ooh, this is my card?
I have not been able to get onto TTS to play with anybody yet. Life has been very busy, especially the last few years. And I mean, and Tuffy might he get on to me for this, but I do not own a single physical card yet.
You're
I
joking.
have been. I am not.
Oh my
I would.
goodness.
I would like to order some, but every time I go to buy, either something happens or I'm told that I should wait a bit. Because I might get something in the mail. But nothing yet. So don't worry, I will eventually own, especially the copies of my own card.
So what out of every card that has released that you've seen, do you have a favorite card that is not one that you have illustrated?
As far as the ones that have been released, because being on the inside, I know that there's some cards coming out. I've always been a big fan of the horror cards. So the one by Sins, the Inward Boy the Malevolent, which is Cyrax as Pennywise. Definitely a big fan of that one.
I believe that is actually part, yeah, that's part of Volume X.
Yep, that is. I'm a big fan of that one. And I'm also a big fan of any of Liquid Christine's work, especially
Oh
the
yeah,
Full Art Christian. I
the
believe it's
Creator and
the
Savior?
holy one. The holy one. That one's good too, but I like the Sacred Heart. It's volume one, I believe.
Yeah, the Holy One with
The
the really
holy one
long
with a
name.
really long name.
Okay, last question, best question. Are you currently, well, we obviously know that you are, but are you working on a little bit that's coming out soon? Or is there a lot of work coming from Kevin? What can we hope to expect in the future?
There's more than double what you have here. I am definitely not the most prolific in the art side, but I have been trying to do more specifically. Um, as far as the horror set, I only was able to get one card out due to circumstances, but I think people are a big fan of that one. The I am a big fan of the foiling on it.
Oh yeah, especially the TV border and the director's cut. Oh my goodness, those are beautiful with the hollow on it. Okay, well, that is going to wrap up our interview. Everybody knows the LolCow cards, but not a lot of people know the artist behind the cards. And so I just wanted to take the opportunity to give all everybody that has gotten the opportunity to illustrate a card to have their space to be known. And so I just want to thank you, Kevin, for being the first one and for giving me the opportunity to open this door for everybody.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate it. This is definitely a fun time.
Yeah,
I
I
always
really
enjoy.
appreciate it, man. Everybody, thank you for coming out to the interview, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.